Okay, we are now back. This is a beautiful thing. You had a couple minutes to deal with that. I'm going to turn this down a little bit. So we'll kind of leave that going. Now, one of the things we got to make sure that we do is we've got that collision. Let's shoot. Okay, shooting is going to be a huge part of this game. Now, you guys already have an SPR bullet. Okay, SPR bullet, it's either a 4x4 or 2x2. You're going to adjust this. It's no big deal. And what we're going to do is we're going to go into the ship. Now, typically what we do, okay, like I created one of these in drag and drop. Don't do this yet, okay? But this, we'd typically have if press. So we'd have a key press. So if a key is pressed, you know, if VK space. So we do something like that typically, or we check for key press. So if key pressed, VK space, then we do something. Now, typically what we do is we create an instance, okay? We give it the object, which in this case is going to be the object. Oh, sorry. I completely forgot about that. We actually got to create the object. So create object, obj, bullet. I'm going to give it that. Sprite bullet, bam, we got this. So now we'll go back to here. We typically would create the object bullet. We'd create it at 0, 0 on the air instances, and we'd give it a name. Like in this case, I don't know, we could call it inst, or I could call it bull, or bullet, or whatever. That allows us to then set different parameters for that. Now, instead of having this, what we're going to do is we're going to go over to our little dude here, okay? And we're going to go back up into the step event. Now, we check if we press left, we check if we press right, we check if we press up. Now what we're going to do is we are going to actually create a bullet. So we're going to say if keyboard check VK space. So this is us checking for the space key. Now, if we've hit the space key, what we're going to end up doing is we're going to do that instance create. So we're going to do instance create layer. Now this is like the code for it. We're going to do it at x, y. This is the current x, y. So it's x plus 0 and y plus 0, which gives us 0, 0. We're going to create it on instances, NCA, NCS, and I'm going to create an obj bullet. Okay, so right here, okay, I am going to make sure that this is created. But the problem with this, okay, right now this creates it on the instances layer right up here. The problem with this is I can never refer to it as anything. I didn't give it a name here. So we're going to do this. Var, we're going to create a variable, and we're going to call it, let's say, inst. So this is going to be the instance of whatever we create. We're going to take this guy and we're going to put it in here. So this is this dude's name. Now that we have this dude named, what we're going to end up doing is we're going to be able to actually change things. So watch what happens if I type inst dot, oh look, let's set the direction equal to the image angle. So it's the image angle of the ship. If the ship is pointed this way, bullet's facing that way. If it's this way, the bullet's facing this way. If it's this way, the bullet's facing that way. So this image angle is going to be the angle that tells us, like, okay, what's going to happen. Now, you might think this would be really cool. If I do this, let's see what happens. Look at, I'm creating a bullet trail. Like, so it really does nothing. We're not sending those bullets anyplace. So in this case, what I got to do is I've got to give it a speed. So inst dot speed equals, here, let's say 6. So if I tell the instance its speed is 6, we've given it a direction and we've given it a speed. So now let's see what happens. Now notice that all I have to do is keep my finger down on that thing and oops, we've got, now this is kind of cool if we wanted to have like laser mode. So look, ooh, this is looking pretty wicked. But we don't want when it's continually pressed. We want keyboard check pressed. Okay, keyboard check pressed is then going to take that, and now every time it's pressed, and you hear my keyboard spamming, it's going to do something like that. So we have now got, this is how we fire a bullet with the space key. So we're firing a bullet with the space key. Okay, this is name the bullet. Actually, here, create the bullet and put into a box called inst. That's its name. Now we can change inst, not inst, I-N-S-T, direction. So we can change the bullet's direction. And here let's use an apostrophe. Let's have proper English. And let's do change the bullet's speed. So we're changing the bullet, and then what we're going to do is we're going to change the speed, which is actually really cool to be able to do that. Now what we did here was we are able to actually fire the bullet, okay? But here's the deal. In this case, if the bullet hits something, like if it collides with the asteroid, we've kind of got to do something. So I'm going to take this guy. I'm going to go over to object bullet for a second. I'm going to say add event, and I'm going to do collision object asteroid. So in this case, remember, now I'm going to do this just so we can see it. Other, I'm going to say user events. You don't need this, okay? I'm just doing this to show you like what it would do. So like typically I'd see something that's called destroy instance. That's what we drag out. But in this case, we've got to use instance, and look, it's down here, destroy. This is going to destroy the bullet. So when bullet hits asteroid, it destroys the bullet. So we want to destroy the bullet. Now we also want to destroy this bullet in one other situation. I'm going to add event, other, outside room. When the bullet goes outside of the room, I'm going to destroy the bullet. That way, like, because if we shoot that bullet and that bullet goes outside of my room, what's going to end up happening is that bad boy is just going to keep going and going and going. And if we have 1 billion bullets outside of my room, it's like right here, if we have the bullet travels out here, they're using up memory. So the minute it gets off here, what we're going to do is we're going to say, yo, bullet, see you later. We're going to destroy you. So let's see if this actually works. Let's see. Okay, check it out. The bullets are hitting this thing, and it's perfect. That's exactly what we want to see. So right now, you literally have this bullet that is at least going to stop there. Okay? Now, I'm going to pause this here for a minute. I'm going to give you a couple minutes and just make sure that you guys have that. Okay? So I want you guys to feel like you've got a pretty good handle on it. You'll see that that's here. Hold on, let me pull this up. So feel free, but go backwards, go forwards, pause this, do whatever you need to rock and roll with that boy. Okay? So let's hit this. Be right back.